miss me winning.
What's up, everybody? It's Hijack here. I'm here today because I'm going to talk about Steve Fox, the Weavin' Steven from Tekken 8. Today, I'm going to talk about, in particular, his Lionheart stance and the changes I would like to see in Lionheart going from Tekken 8 to Tekken 9. Not anything like Tekken 8 Season 4 or anything like that. The changes I'm going to suggest are going to be a bit too dramatic and serious that would impact the game too much, I believe, if it was more of a seasonal change as opposed to just a brand new, fresh take. So, the two talking points that I'm going to hit are Steve as a boxer and then Steve as a character, right? And I'm going to try to make them together to make it a more realistic fighting character. So, let's begin. Steve is a right-handed boxer, otherwise known as orthodox. If you go into a left-handed stance is called southpaw. Now, the reason that's important is Lionheart, with all the ways that Steve can go into it, his right foot comes forward as the main foot forward. Like his left hand is back. He's left-handed in this stance, essentially. So, what that means is that you have to treat Lionheart as a southpaw stance, right? Well, in any martial art whatsoever, whatever hand you have back, whatever foot you have back, whatever side of your body is to the back, that's your strong side, which is always going to be slower than your closer side is closer to the target. So like a jab, 10 frames, makes sense. 2 jab, 12 frames, makes sense. The strong hand is slower. So when you go to Lionheart, his left hand is back. So in that particular instance, his left hand should always be slower, in my opinion. And what that means for me is that the left body hook there, which transitions to flicker, and the right uppercut to, well, that's just an uppercut for a launch, they should be reversed, in my opinion, and here's why. It is not physically possible to do a left-handed stance and be in southpaw, step your whole left foot forward the way Steve does, right, and do a body hook in a quarter of a second. So Tekken runs at 60 frames a second, and that attack, Lionheart 1, is 14 frames fast, occasionally 15 apparently, which that's 1 frame shorter than a quarter of a second to a flat quarter of a second. That's not physically possible in the real world. Whereas the uppercut at 16, that's doable. That makes some sense, with a big step in. It can happen. Well, if you actually switch the roles of what those two moves do, you would actually give Steve a left-handed launcher outside of his back one, right? Because he doesn't have one. Everything that he launches is right-handed. We got that. We got, peekaboo down forward 2. We got peekaboo up forward 2. We have just up 2. We have all these right-handed launchers. Even full crouch down forward 2. It's all right-handed. Nothing left-handed. And he's one of the very few characters that are like this, where majority of the characters have launchers from various limbs. He does not. Now, sure, he has his heat dash out of Quarter Circle Forward 1, but it's a situational one, Whereas he needs one that's just going to hit every single time on normal hit, and that's just how it's going to be. So, what should happen here is instead of having a left body hook that goes to flicker, Steve should have a big left uppercut for the launch. It should still be 16 to 17 frames. It should still be minus 13 on block. Everything about the frame data for both moves should just switch. Stay the same and switch. Now for Lionheart 2, that should be a mid-body hook that allows him to transition to peekaboo, not flicker. Why? Again, go back to the realism part of it. It makes more sense for Steve to have another peekaboo transition as opposed to another flicker one. Because with flicker, he has a flicker jab, he has flicker back too, or he has any of his weaves, right? He has a punch parry, and he could actually, duck or even, up two out of it. Which, sure, he has a lot of quote-unquote options, but none of them really beat other options in particular. Like, sure, the punch parry's a punch. Cool. The flicker jab will beat nothing. It will lose to anything 14 frames or faster. The armor will lose to a jab or faster, because there are, like, Yoshimitsu has flash at 6 frames. That'll obviously beat that. But yeah, so he has nothing that really wins in that situation. So his best option is just to block and lose his turn, which at -3, Steve should be able to do whatever he wants to do, but he can't at a flicker because he doesn't have the options for it. In -3, Steve can forward 2 with Peekaboo for a high crush. He can, up forward 2 for a high crush and low crush. He can go right into a down 2. He can go into a down 1, which are both high crushes. He has all these different options that will actually entice the opponent to want to swing at him because they're slower, but he wants you to swing at him. So he'll get the mind games on you anyway. He'll still have his turn in a sense. He even has Peekaboo 2, which is a punch parry built in. It's a Sabaki. He has all these different options in Peekaboo that he just does not have in Flicker, and that is why a Lionheart 2, being a mid-hook, going into Peekaboo would be super beneficial to him, but not game-breaking. Everything else he has out of Lionheart, which is Lionheart 1+2, Lionheart up forward 1+2 for his throw, and Lionheart, and then 3+4 for the Albatross. I mean, sure, he can do all his weaves out of it and everything. All that can stay. I mean, Lionheart 1+2, that's not a real thing he would do anyway. Like, a boxer would not do that. So that's perfectly fine to stay as is. That's not the issue. I still want to talk about Lionheart 1 and Lionheart 2 and how they should be reversed, and the additions or the change to Lionheart, what would be Lionheart 1 now. It should transition to Peekaboo and not Flicker. That's just my opinion, and just for credential purposes, as you can see, I'm a God of Destruction 4, and I am, in fact, in a quick match practice mode here, so it's not like that's my offline rank. That is my online rank. I'm in the top 1.8% last I checked. So, yeah, I think I have a valid argument, a valid reason to make this opinion, and my opinion is not just like a beginner or somebody low, just like thinking this is how it should be. This is how I think it should be from a gameplay perspective, to try to mirror realism, which I understand. It's a video game. Shouldn't take it too seriously. We shouldn't take video games too seriously, ever. But Tekken has always been a fighting game that has been heavily modeled after realistic martial arts. Like, all the martial arts in the game are real. So it would make sense to have a boxer be as close to a real boxer as you can get him, while not going against the core fundamentals of the game, and I think that change for Lionheart would do just that. I thank you, everybody, for watching and taking the time, and we will see you in the next video, which will likely be talking about Flicker Stance and Peekaboo as individuals. I could probably cover them both in the same video, but yeah, we'll see you next time. Again, thank you, everybody, for watching, and have a good one. Bye-bye. And here are some gameplay examples.
I'm up for a rematch anytime. Fight. When it comes to who talks the most, you definitely win.